Hey folks, Dr. Freelance here. Wanted to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. It's not a new subject, but it is something that I've seen a big uptick over the course of the past 6 months. And in fact, I did a Google Trends search, and it's really kind of gone up like this over the course of the past couple months. So, what is imposter syndrome? Let's talk a little bit about that first. It's not just a lack of confidence. It is the feeling that you're going to get found out and that maybe you're not as good as what you portray yourself, or that somehow you're inferior to other people in what it is that you do. And I suspect that as a creative person, as a creative freelancer, that's not an uncommon thing, just because there's no real empirical way to measure what we do. Not like a baseball player who, if you're batting above 300, you're going to be employed by a major league ball club. If you are somebody who is able to build widgets faster and better and more accurate than other people, that's kind of an empirical measure. Whereas what we do is a little bit tougher in that respect. So part of the reason that this came to mind is that, as you probably saw in my blog posts earlier this week, I attended Publishing University up in Salt Lake City, which was absolutely fantastic. And if you're somebody who is a writer, an aspiring author, works with authors, editor, or if you're a publisher even, a small indie press, really worthwhile going to. But one of the things that I found is that even though I've got decades of experience within publishing itself, my knowledge in book publishing is pretty shallow. I've helped edit books over the course of the past half dozen or years or so as part of my freelance business, and of course I wrote my books. But going to a conference where there are people who literally have written dozens or hundreds of books and published dozens or hundreds of books, it's a little bit daunting. And the good thing is that everybody there was really awesome and was very kind with sharing information, and so that helped with that aspect of it. Now, in some respects, I look at imposter syndrome a little bit the way I look at writer's block, which is that, does it exist? Sure. But does focusing on it accomplish anything? Absolutely not. And so the key here, and what I'd like to talk about a little bit, is how to get past that and what you need to do to be able to overcome those feelings that you're either inferior or that you're going to get found out, that you're not as spectacular as you know that you are in your heart. And as with writer's block, what I don't like to see is imposter syndrome being used as some sort of an excuse for not going out and trying to accomplish new things, not trying to accomplish better things, not to experiment with new adventures. So how do you go about addressing it if you do have those feelings of inferiority? I think with imposter syndrome, part of it comes down to authenticity, and whether are you in your heart, are you in your soul trying to achieve and break barriers? Are you trying to become better than you are today? And again, that's something that happened at Publishing University, where they talked about on the first day that you really need to accept where you are and move forward from that. You really can't regret things you have done in the past or regret things that you haven't done in the past. So that's part of it. The opposite is the Dunning-Kruger effect. And that's where somebody, and we all know this person, where somebody thinks that they know everything, and the fact is that they don't. And so it's, in a way, sort of like the Peter principle, where it's somebody who self-promotes beyond their capabilities. And you don't want to fall into that trap any more than you want to get too concerned about being inferior or being found out by somebody. So how do you make imposter syndrome work for you as opposed to against you? One thing I'm going to recommend is that Jen Mattern and P.S. Jones, Princess Jones, did a fantastic podcast the other day, and I will leave that link below this video. Highly recommended. It's well worth the hour or so to listen to it. They talk a lot about fear and confidence, and I consider it required listening no matter where you are in your freelance career. I really highly recommend that you take the time to listen to that, even in the background, but they've got some really good thoughts on this same topic. Specifically, I think the first thing is recognition. And you can hear my dog in the background jingling, running through the hallway. Sorry about that. So Peter Shankman, if you're familiar with him, talks a lot about ADHD, and that he uses that as leverage to make his business better and to make him more successful. I think imposter syndrome can work in the same way. The second aspect of it is control, and by that I mean nobody can control how you perceive yourself. The other way to think about it is that nobody can make you feel bad about yourself without your permission. And so accepting that any given point in time, the way I felt starting out for the first little bit at Publishing University, that you're always going to run into people that know more about a given topic than you do. And that's okay. The key is, what do you do to extract that information? What do you do to make yourself better? Then the final thing is exactly that, is acting. You can't let those feelings, whether you're just fearful, or you don't have enough confidence, or you really feel like you have imposter syndrome, that you need to take action, and you need to do those things and prove to yourself that you're capable of those things. And that's really the best way to get around it, is that when you set a goal for yourself and you achieve that goal, that you're going to feel that those feelings are less important. Obviously, this is just scratching the surface of what imposter syndrome means, and I realize that there are other factors to it that people may feel are deeper issues. But it is a topic that I just wanted to touch on today. If you feel like it's something that you want me to discuss more, I would be happy to do that. And just click like, share this video on social media. That would be my signal that people want to hear more about it. If you've really heard all you need to hear in the past couple minutes, then that's fine too. And if I hear crickets, this will be the beginning and the end of imposter syndrome. Again, I highly recommend for your to-do list that you take a listen to Jen and Princess in that podcast. I think you'll find it valuable. I certainly did. And again, this is not something that goes away. It's something that you need to recognize, control,